Hello and welcome to our next session. Today we are going to be looking at the while loop. We look at its definition as well as a real life example. Suppose we want to print the hello world 10 times. We realized that we may have to repeat either the printf function 10 times, or we may have to duplicate the statement hello world 10 times. But today we are going to see how we can achieve the same results with the use of a while loop. Another example was when we want to capture the names of different number of employees. We realize that if you need to capture more than one employee name, if you're not using a loop, you may be forced to declare more than one variable to store each and every employee name. You might have to repeat the two variable names in the scanf so that you're able to capture the two employee names. You may have to repeat employee name, which in this case is the variable names, multiple times so that you're able to display each and every employee. We are going to see that we're using a loop. We will not need the two variable names. We will not need the two variable names similarly in the scanf statement. We also will not need the two variable names in the printf statement. And that will help us to see how a loop helps to reduce the amount of code that you write. We're also going to see how a loop helps to reduce the code complexity. So what's a while loop? A while loop is simply a block of statement that's going to be executed within the loop. This is a place where we are indicating the code to be executed, and it's supposed to be executed repeatedly until we satisfy a given condition. In our previous example, we are only capturing the names of two employees. So we are going to prompt a user to enter the name, and the condition is until we get to the second employee. If you look at the previous example here, we were displaying hello world 10 times. So we'll continue displaying hello world until we get to the 10th hello world. That's when we stop. So the condition here specifies what is the end point. So in the event that we need to capture 5 items or we need to capture 10 items, when we get to the 5th item or the 10th item, it's at that given point that we stop. So the syntax normally is it's a while statement, and remember we said that while is a keyword, so you cannot use the name while as a variable name. So while, then within the brackets we normally put the condition. So the condition specifies up to what point. So long as this condition that we are going to place here remains to be true, this execution will continually be executed. We are going to explain more in a short while. Shortly after the condition, we normally put the opening curly bracket, and we have to close that closing curly bracket. Remember, there is never a semicolon. Why? Because we are saying that the statements within the curly brackets are the ones that we want to have them executed multiple times, so long as this particular condition remains to be true. A while loop normally has 3 parts. One of the parts is what we refer to as initialization. Where are we starting? At times we may be starting from 0, at times we may be starting from 1. So the initialization helps us to give a counter that in the event that we need to display hello world 10 times. So we could be starting from 1 all the way to 10, or similarly we could be starting from 10 all the way to 1. So initialization tells us where are we beginning from. We could either be beginning from 1 upwards, or we could be beginning from 10 downwards. Now the condition specifies what needs to be fulfilled for that particular statement to continually be executed. So long as the condition remains to be true, then the code that is inside the while loop, in this given case, is a hello world. That code will continue to be executed. And that's why we can see that on the flow diagram, we normally have the initialization. This is where we are setting our starting point. And then we set the condition. And then after that, we check whether is this condition true. If the condition is true, there's some piece of code that will be executed. And so this particular part will continue to be executed so long as the condition that we have provided here is true. So long as the hello world statements have not gotten beyond 10, then we can continue to display them. In the event that they get to 10, then the condition turns into a false and the program ends at that given point. Let's look at an example. The example to the right does not have a loop. And we can see we have repeated printf statement 10 times so that we can display hello world. We want to see how we can use a loop to similarly do the same thing, but in a shorter manner. You can see that we have three things which we have talked about. That we have the initialization. Initialization, where are we starting? So we want to display hello world 10 times. So we'll need to keep count how many times we are displaying. So we'll have the first time, the second point. So we normally declare a variable that helps us to keep counting. It helps us to remember how many times we are executing. So we are going to declare a variable. We are going to call it A. At times you can even call it count and so on and so forth. So we are going to initialize it to 1. So that means that we are beginning at 1. And then the next thing we said, we normally have a condition. Now the condition is, because we want to display hello world 10 times, then we are simply going to say that while A is less or equal to 10. So that means that we are going to be moving from where A is 1 all the way to where A is going to be 10. So that movement from A being 1 to A being 10, we are going to be incrementing. So what happens is, at this given point line 4, we are testing. We have already initialized our A as 1. So we are going to ask ourselves here, while A, now in this given case being 1, is 1 less or equal to 10? And that amounts to be true because 1 is less than. So if it's less than, we are going to print this statement, hello world. And then it's going to meet this line. So this line is supposed to increment our A. So in this given case, our A was 1. It's going to be added a 1. That becomes a 2. Then we go back at this particular point. Now we ask ourselves, is our A, which in this case is a 2, is it less than or equal to 10? And we say it's true. So it's going to print again hello world, increment our 2, then becomes our 3. When we take 2 plus 1. So our A is now going to have a 3. Then the 3 is again going to be tested. And 3 is still less than or equal to 10. It's going to print again hello world, then increment. And so on and so forth, up to the point where we now have our A being 9. So 9 will be added a 1. It means that our A is now at 10. We come at this given point, we test. Is 10 less or equal to 10? It's true, it's actually 10 is going to be equal to 10. Then it's going to print hello world, it's going to increment. Our 10 plus 1 becomes 11. So our A is going to be 11. So we ask at this particular point, is 11 less or equal to 10? And the condition is false. So the program terminates at that. So you are going to see that these two statements will continually be executed to help us achieve the same sort of result. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next session.